This is a Flat Earth Theater production of Lovecraft's Tales Outside Time and Space, a selection of stories by H.P. Lovecraft with E. Hoffman Price, and adapted by A. Lehrmitt.
Am I late? Terribly sorry, folks. Very unprofessional of me.
Nice of you to finally join us. Marty here and I were just going through your documents. You are very thorough.
It comes with the profession. I trust everything looks to be in order.
We have some opinions on the matter. We'll discuss that shortly.
Our esteemed guest hasn't arrived yet. Please, make yourself comfortable in the meantime. Anything I can get for you?
No, but thank you all the same. No one other than that is expected today.
None that I'm aware of.
Just the Swami. She should be here soon, I believe.
A shame. I was hoping more of the relatives would have a stake in today's events. I've done what I could, but it seems even dividing a hefty estate can't lure them all out of the woodwork.
Assuming indeed that is what is going to happen today.
Oh, it will, madam. We are very close to finally closing this issue and being considerably richer when we are done with it.
Not if I have anything to say about it. I made my point time and again that Randolph...
Miss Ward, be still. I'd like to wait until the Swami arrives before you bite Mr. Aspinwall's head off.
Don't tempt me.
Philippa.
Beautiful home you have here, Mr. DeMarney. Though I believe your grandfather clock is incorrect.
Actually, it's quite precise, but I'm not sure I'm able to explain its preternatural workings to you. Do you see the symbols on the face there, and the 5 hands that...
Maybe you should have your man wind it.
That would be irrelevant. Why, the time it's measuring really doesn't.
Swami Chandraputra, very good of you to make it.
It's a pleasure to finally meet you.
The pleasure is mine. Nice to see you both in person. You're Etienne Laurent...
Etienne Laurent de Marigny. Welcome. Thank you for coming all this way. I know New Orleans must be a trek for you. This is Miss Philippa Ward from Providence.
Yes, we've been in communication these past months.
And Ernest B. Aspinwall from Chicago, representing the various relatives.
And other vultures our dear friend Carter seems to attract.
Charmed. Don't have much of an Indian accent, do you, Swami?
I am lucky to be very well traveled, Mr. Aspinwall.
There's something there, though. Can't quite place it. Can you folks,
Likely an amalgamation of the many locales I've called home over the years.
Well, your English is exemplary, Swami Chandraputra. We're grateful to have you share your knowledge with us today. Well, we all know why we're here. I met Carter in the Foreign Legions, and we developed an affinity over our shared interest in... well, we'll get to that. He named me literary and financial executor of his estate, and there is still much pushback from the next of kin.
Who are all at least 3rd or 4th cousins, if not more distant, mind you.
It's been 4 years, Miss Ward. Let's just declare the man dead already and divide up the property.
Can we keep it to the facts for 5 minutes? The records state that Randolph Carter of Boston, Massachusetts, went missing in the hills of Arkham on the 7th of October, 1928. Investigators found a parchment in a carven box inside his car.
I have the parchment right here. I've been researching it, but the language on it is like nothing of this world.
Indeed, Miss Ward. Neither have I been able to make heads nor tails of it. Colonel Churchward declares it is not Nakal and looks nothing at all like the hieroglyphs on the Easter Island wooden club.
May I see that parchment?
Of course. Here you are.
Yes. Yes, fascinating.
Do you recognize something, Swami Chandraputra?
Perhaps. Continue with what you were saying.
Indeed. As Carter has never been found, dead or alive, the debate for these past 4 years has been whether to proceed with the distribution of the Carter estate. Which brings us to Ms. Ward's theory.
Simply put, anyone who knows Carter, as I'm certain you don't, Mr. Aspinwall, can deduce that he is not dead.
Now see here, you old coot!
Excuse me. Settle down.
Tell me, Philippa, what is it that makes you think your friend Randolph Carter is still alive?
He was a very practiced mystic, more practiced than I am. He could navigate the dreamlands and had studied the occult for years. A man that powerful does not vanish without a trace, without going somewhere else.
If he were somewhere else, we would have found him by now. Or he would have returned home, or he would...
Your theory, Miss Ward.
Thank you. There are twists of time and space, of vision and reality which only a dreamer can divine. And from what I know of Carter, I think he has merely found a way to traverse these mazes. He is not dead, because I have reason to believe he lives in another time dimension, as the new king of the dream city Ilekvad.
Which is as impossible to prove as it is preposterous. You cannot continue delaying this estate hearing because of some fantasy story you've conjured up.
There is actually ample precedent for beings harnessing the ability to travel in such a manner as Miss Ward indicates. I've attempted it myself, although with no such luck. What do you think, Swami Chandraputra?
I must agree with you and Miss Ward that cases of dimensional travel are abundant. I have personally encountered myriad stories in my travels, some of this earth and some outside of it.
I've never heard of any.
I think you've made that clear, Mr. Aspinwall. I have an anecdote for you. A professor I knew, Albert Wilmarth from Arkham. He learned more than he cared to on the subject when he visited a correspondent of his in the Vermont hills.
Lovely little town, Brattleboro. It's got quite the New England charm, doesn't it?
Thought you'd enjoy it, Wilmarth. I try to come down here whenever I can. It's not a big town, but it is far less rustic than the Akeley homestead. Was your train ride from Arkham pleasant?
Quite. Was there a reason you didn't wish to meet me at your home? It's been a while since I've been out that way.
I'll get to that. I knew you wanted to see the river firsthand. Not sure how much we're going to see today.
It's a start, at least.
There were also some areas in the woods that I'd hope to show you. Would be a short drive from here.
Let's determine if that's going to be at all necessary first, Akeley.
Of course. Mind my eagerness. It's been a long time since we've had anything newsworthy hereabouts.
Your letters said you discovered some alarming things in the wake of the Vermont floods. It's a common claim lately. You know of my skepticism towards these little folk tales.
Well, your articles make that very clear. But I think you'll find it interesting.
Not seeing much sign of the flood from last November anymore.
Well, the winter storms destroyed much of it. Things have a way of going back to normal around here.
I'm certainly not seeing anything unusual.
Likely washed away by now.
The things that people said washed up on the shore. What can you tell me about them?
Came down from the hills, we reckon. Pinkish things, from what I hear. Haven't seen them myself, of course, but this is what the locals are saying.
Go on.
About the size of a man, but with a crustacean-like body. Bat-like wings and numerous pairs of legs. What else? Flattened heads, covered in short antennae, hands like claws. Sounds terrible.
Yes, that's about what I've heard as well. Every detail the same from each source, curiously enough.
Wouldn't want to meet up with one of those on a moonlit night.
If they exist in the first place. People can talk about their sightings until they turn blue, but I see no proof. None of their bodies were salvaged.
I suppose not. Nothing around here anymore, that's for sure.
That doesn't make you question?
Why should it?
And no one got a picture of these beings. Do you know how many photographs and newspaper cuttings of empty riverbeds and desolate woods people around here have been mailing to me?
Perhaps there is more to those photographs than meets the eye.
So what? The beings just vanished from the film? That's pretty convenient if you ask me.
Oh, I bet they were there. I wonder if they can't be photographed.
Even more convenient.
You've studied more folklore than I have. What else could you make of that?
Honestly?
Honestly.
I don't think you'll like what I have to say.
Let me be the judge of that.
Well, I'm sure you can also see the striking resemblance these things bear to this area's old folklore.
So?
So it sounds to me like these myths have entered the minds of the simple hill folk. No offense intended. And now they are merely parroting it all back. I find it all interesting, but it's pure nonsense and conjecture.
But that doesn't account for how so many of these stories are so similar to each other.
It does, though. These are well-known legends like werewolves and vampires, so it would be easy for people to jump to the same conclusions disparately. Might not be realizing they're doing it. Might be so ingrained in their memories that they actually think they are seeing these things.
I'm going to have to disagree with you there.
That's right, because you had some evidence yourself to show me, didn't you?
Yes. Let me get my photographs from the truck.
You know, Akeley, I've always perceived you to be an educated, rational woman, and I'm glad to have you as a resource into these rural folk tales. But I hope you're not softening in your old age like the rest of these weak-minded hill folk who believe anything they hear.
Uh-huh. But you want to know what I found as well, Mr. Wilmarth. Don't pretend your curiosity about these strange beings didn't propel you here, just as much as your self-confidence that you would prove me wrong did.
How could I turn down such news? The chance to debunk a present-day living folktale?
And if I were in your position, I wouldn't believe it either. But these photographs show...
Yes, let's see these alleged photographs.
Do you see the footprint there?
Yes. Wow, that is strange.
More like a claw print, yes?
There's definitely something crab-like about it.
And here, this cave in the woods. Notice the immense round boulder pushed up against the aperture. That cannot be a natural occurrence.
Are those more of your claw prints leading up to it?
I am certain they are.
I do admit there's something strange about these photographs. They're a trifle off-putting, aren't they?
Try finding these footprints around your house.
You don't say.
I have something else, too. I started hearing voices in the woods, so I recorded them on a phonograph one night.
Smart of you.
I've got it here in the truck bed. You're going to want to hear this. Let me get it running.
Is it working?
Have patience, Mr. Wilmarth. The quality of the sound may be a little unclear at times, but you'll understand all soon enough.
That sounds almost like...
Shh, it's starting.
Ever their praises. And abundance to the black goat of the woods.
What is she talking about?
Shubnigura, the goat with 1,000 young.
What on earth is that?
That's one of them.
One of what?
Shh!
And it has come to pass that the Lord of the woods shall send tribunes to him in the gulf, Azathoth, he of whom thou hast taught us marvels that we may journey on the wings of night out beyond space, out beyond Yugoth, which is the youngest child, rolling along in the black ether at the rim.
Go out among men and find the ways thereof, that he in the gulf may know. To Nyarlathotep, mighty messenger, must all things be told, and he shall put on the semblance of men, the waxen mask and the robe that hides, and come down from the world of 7 suns to mock.
Nyarlathotep, great messenger, bringer of strange joy to Yugoth through the void, father of the 1,000,000 favored ones, stalker among...
That's all of it.
My God, Akeley.
It still chills me to the bone to listen to it.
Who was the woman in the recording?
I do not know. I've never heard that voice anywhere else. This whole thing is staggering to me.
And that other voice?
Monstrous.
What could have made that sound?
You can't fathom it, can you?
Well, what do you make of it then? What caused it?
I can tell you more than that. I know what they are, and they're terrible.
What are?
Beings from another planet beyond Neptune that hasn't even been discovered yet. They call it Yugoth. That is their outpost, but they exist all over the universe.
Under any other circumstance, Akeley, I'd be the first to doubt you. But now... Tell me more.
They have a way of traveling through time and space, and they come here for the metals in the earth.
Time and space?
They can travel anywhere, essentially.
How can you know all this from these photographs and the record?
There was a man who lived near me outside Townsend. He was serving as a spy for these things, and he told me much of what he knew. These creatures, these aliens, have spies all over, which is why I asked you to come to Brattleboro instead of my homestead. It isn't safe there.
I'd like to talk to this man. If he's been willing to talk to you, then...
I'm afraid that's not possible. He has since killed himself.
Oh, no.
and I fear I am in danger myself at times. They think I know too much.
Akeley, do you think you should go to the police with this?
Not in a million years. The Migo, those are the aliens. They could always just send more. They could wipe us all out if they wanted to, but as long as they don't think we're a threat, they'll leave us alone.
But if you say these things and their allied men could harm you, why don't you leave?
Call it the stubbornness of an old woman, or call it my way of limiting access to the things that live in the hills around Dark Mountain. And I have one other thing. This black stone I found in the woods by one of those caves. I'm sure it's theirs.
Goodness, look at the markings on this thing.
Like hieroglyphs.
Oh, it's heavier than it looks to be. I wonder what it's made from.
I think they want it and the phonograph record back. But I'm close to deciphering what the writing on the stone means.
I think I may be able to help you with that. I have access to the Necronomicon at the library at Miskatonic University. I'm sure I've seen some of these symbols there.
I'll keep the stone safe, but I have some photographs of it you can borrow.
These are a bit difficult to read.
It's the best I could do. The stone is fairly hard to get a photograph of. It's so black.
I'll do what I can. This is some serious stuff you've gotten into, Akeley.
So you believe me, Mr. Wilmarth? You'll keep helping me?
I believe something. Not sure what yet, but I'll research it over summer break and come to you with everything I find.
That would be most useful.
Now, tell me everything you know. Professor Wilmarth?
Hello? It's Akeley.
Who?
Akeley, this is important.
Akeley? Is that you?
Yes, it's Akeley.
What's going on? Where are you?
Cannot talk long. You must not come.
Where? To the homestead?
Townsend. You must not come to Townsend. Cease all that you're doing.
But, Akeley, I've come across some intriguing information about the Black Stone. I think if—
No! You must cease what you are doing and stay where you are, for it could cause harm to us both.
Calm down, old gal. Tell me what's going on. Perhaps I can help.
Cannot talk longer. Wait and I will explain.
Akeley? Akeley, are you there?
Oh, Mr. Wilmarth, what are you doing here? I wasn't expecting you for another week.
Something's amiss.
How did you get all the way out here?
I hitched a ride from the train station in Brattleboro. There was no other way.
Hitched a ride? There are spies everywhere. Are you sure no one saw you?
It had to be done.
Come inside. You must tell me what's happened.
Akeley, was it you who called me yesterday?
Called you? I did no such thing. What are you talking about?
I thought not. It was very strange. You specifically told me not to come out here, which made me very wary, but you mispronounced your own name.
My own name? It must have been one of them.
Why would they call me?
They've been trying to keep me isolated. They've been harassing me lately.
How?
My dogs, they sense them. They bark in the night, and it seems to scare them away, but I know they've been around the farm. Their claw prints are everywhere by morning.
You should really call the police about this.
They'll think I'm a lunatic. What proof do I have?
The Black Stone. They may not understand it, but they'll believe that you're in danger.
What do you mean, the Black Stone? I mailed that to you last week for safekeeping.
I never received anything from you.
Oh, no, the damned things. They must have intercepted it.
Why would you do such a thing?
I didn't trust keeping it here. Every night they're out in the woods taunting me with their allies. One day I drove into town and the aliens had laid a tree across the road. The dogs barked and barked. Heaven knows what would have happened if they weren't around.
They're growing bolder, that's for sure. And more conniving.
I saw one of those things, too. Like a great crab. It was ghastly.
In the woods?
On the roof. One night one of the dogs got up there and killed it. I took pictures of it, but the corpse didn't show up in the film. And the body was gone by morning.
I read something about that at the university. It explains why something would be unable to be photographed.
Tell me.
The theory states that if the matter that they're composed of is so alien to our world, then perhaps their electrons vibrate at a rate that cannot be photographed or preserved without effort. It would be as if they belong in another dimension and only appear among us through their sheer will.
They're out there again, I know it. Them and their human spies.
It's gotten dark. I can't see anything past the trees.
I keep a rifle by the window. Use it. I'll fire from the kitchen with my handgun.
Rifle? What do you want me to do with that?
Shoot into the tree line.
What if it's just a deer or some birds?
Shoot them, now! I think they're gone, but we should make a run for it.
Your truck.
I'll drive you back to Brattleboro, and you can get out of here.
What will you do? You can't stay here.
I'll come back in the morning when it's quiet and start packing up things to go stay with my son in California.
I'll come back and check on you. Sunday, before classes begin.
Thank you. I'll pick you up then. Get to the truck.
Thanks again for the ride, Miss...
Noyes, my pleasure. I hope Helen is feeling well again soon.
Poor woman.
Her fever sounded very bad when she asked me to give you a lift from the train station.
Kind of you to do so.
Wish her well for me. So long.
Akeley, it's Wilmarth. Mrs. Akeley.
In here. Pardon my voice. It's the asthma. It makes it hard for me to talk. No, keep the lights off. My headache.
On top of everything going on, you get a fever.
These blankets and scarves are helping, I think.
Have the alien attacks continued?
Come closer. I don't want to move at all. Oh, I feel so terrible.
Of course.
We've made a tremendous mistake, you see. One of the human allies explained it all to me.
You were wrong about the aliens?
In totality. All of the morbid things we thought about them, we entirely misjudged. They're actually glorious beings who can expand our ways of thinking.
But they stalked you. Attacked you.
The Migo only wanted to communicate with me. And we are past that now. They only wish peace.
I don't see how you can trust them. In so short a time, you're on their side now?
They're going to take me with them. To the mighty cities on Yugoth. To everywhere they go in the universe. Did you know Einstein is wrong? That certain objects can move faster than the speed of light? Do you see those jars on the shelves?
Yes. They weren't here last time I was.
The Migo have an ingenious way of extracting the human brain so it can subsist in one of those jars. And they can transport me wherever they go.
Extracting the brain?
The human body cannot survive their interstellar travel the way the Migo can. But they have machines that will allow the brain to see, hear, and speak. Take one of them down for me. I'll show you.
One of these jars has your name on it, Akeley.
Don't bother with that now. Take down one of those other ones. Yes, B67. He is a good choice. Hook up those sockets there. They should be logical enough.
Like that?
Yes, Mr. Wilmarth. I hope I do not startle you.
What trick is this, Akeley? Who is that?
I am human like you, though not all of us are. I met the Migo well in the Himalayas, where they have an outpost.
They have outposts all over the planet.
We are looking forward to traveling across the void next week, and having Mrs. Akeley's in your company along the way.
My company? No. I am not part of this.
Are you not? Do you know that I have been on 37 different celestial bodies? 8 were outside our galaxy, and 2 were outside the curved cosmos of space and time.
The brain is effectively immortal when outside the body, Wilmarth.
This is true. We hope you will join us. A knowledgeable man as yourself would find it eye-opening, and the Migo are eager to meet you.
We'll talk more of it in the morning. Could you turn off all the switches? I'm feeling tired and would like to rest.
Of course. The jar. What is that exactly? I cannot believe what you're saying. There must be an explanation.
I wish I could tell you more, but my fever is too strong. No more tonight, please.
But Akeley, what you're saying is insane.
Take the room upstairs. I'll stay here tonight. I'm accustomed to it.
But
Until morning.
If you insist. Good night.
Keep the volume low. He's right upstairs.
Wilmarth is a weak human. He will see the way.
I would not be sure of that. His stubbornness could be a problem. It is too soon to tell.
We will prepare a cylinder for him. We must assume the original plan will move forward. Our spies will continue the work.
We must deal with him regardless. Tomorrow night.
Brown, take your car. We will return tomorrow night.
Finally. Akeley, I don't like the sound of this. We should get out of here. I'll shoot my way out if I have to. Are you still sleeping? Come on now. What's this? A mask?
We are not going anywhere, Mr. Wilmarth.
Oh my God! What are you? What have you done with Akeley?
She will be coming with us now. You will see.
It was you all along! All night it was you, you monster!
You must be made to understand. The universe is much more than you think it is.
No! How could you do this?
What's going on?
Noyes! Hell, we've got to leave! What's happened to Mrs. Akeley is...
What have you done? You've killed it!
It was just a mask of her face. The creature, oh, it's horrible!
You know what you've done! They were supposed to take us to Yugoth!
What? No, Noyes, not you too! Get out of the way, I have to get out of here! How did I not know? Oh, Akeley, how did I not see it? The aliens! They played us for fools!
You cannot mistake children's science fiction stories with reality. This has no bearing on our course today.
Scientists did just name a 9th planet. Pluto, they're calling it, but I am very tempted to believe it's...
Yugoth? Good heavens, Demarney, is that right?
You two are more gullible than I took you for. Can we get back on track for the Lord's sake?
Of course. We do have an additional account of what took place the night Carter disappeared. It comes from his old servant, a fellow by the name of Parks. He has since passed away.
Oh, that is quite the shame to hear. Parks was a good man.
Quite. He and Carter found a silver key in the same box as the parchment in the attic. Carter thought it could return him to the lands of childhood dream he had lost.
Where is the key now?
The key has not been found, but before he disappeared, Carter sent me a photograph of it, saying he was close to solving its mystery.
He obviously still has it with him. The key must have unlocked the successive doors that bar our free march down the mighty corridors of space and time.
I, too, believe Carter took the key for some purpose like this. The question is, why didn't he also bring the parchment?
Perhaps he forgot it. Or did not think to bring it with him because he already had the key.
I'm more inclined to believe that he knew he didn't need it. I have been to many strange places in dreams and have heard many things in Ophar beyond the river sky. It does not appear that the parchment was needed, for certainly Carter used the key to re-enter the world of his boyhood dreams and is now a king in Ilikvad.
Ophar. Ilikvad! You three are conspiring against the rightful heirs of this estate with your mythic claptrap. From where I come from, we believe in a little something called Occam's razor. And I think the simplest theory is that Carter died in those dangerous woods. And your theories of aliens and time travel and all that, are nothing but bunkum.
Mr. Aspinwall, if you just listen to us, we are trying to
For
explain.
crying out loud, men cannot travel to other dimensions.
But they can. It may take some amount of witchcraft, but they can and they have. I recall there was this boarding house near Miskatonic University in Arkham where these sorts of stories were reported all the time.
Gilman, you in here?
Sure, Elwood, what's up?
Funny, I tried you last night and you weren't here.
I was probably sleeping.
No, I mean, I came in the room. It was about 2 in the morning.
What were you doing up at 2 in the morning?
I couldn't figure out this homework assignment. I didn't want to intrude, but I thought you could help me. But you weren't in here.
Well, you must be mistaken. I would have been in bed sleeping then.
It's happened several times now. Do you know if you sleepwalk?
I hardly think so.
Because I'm 1 floor under you and I can hear you walking around at all hours of the night.
What?
I've never seen you sleepwalking around, but I wonder if maybe that's why you weren't here last night.
I don't know. Let me get my books out. This calculus isn't going to learn itself.
Wow. I've never seen your room during the day before. It still surprises me you wanted to live up here.
The price sweetened the deal quite a bit.
Yes, but this was Keziah Mason's room way back when. That doesn't scare you?
That's actually why I chose this room in the first place.
Really? Why?
It's going to seem absurd.
Try me.
To be honest, I was curious if I'd be able to glean any of her, expertise by living in here. I thought it might help me with my quantum physics classes.
Why? Because she was supposed to have been able to walk through walls, or however the story goes. She was just a crazy witch, Gilman.
Crazy witch or not, she told a judge point blank that she could use lines and curves to lead her from one space to other spaces beyond. And then she vanished right out of her jail cell over 200 years ago. Do you think that was coincidence?
I think that's a silly story meant to scare children.
Look at the walls of this room, though. You have to admit there's something unusual about them.
I don't see anything wrong with this room except for the fact everyone says it's haunted and you're dumb enough to rent it anyway.
I'm serious. Take this wall. It's not perfectly vertical. It's like there's something on the other side.
I suppose, but it's probably just rats. I get them in my room too.
And the ceiling kind of slopes down where it meets it, right there at the top.
Where?
Look. Look at it from this angle.
Oh, you're right. What's above this room?
I don't know. I've climbed upstairs to the attic, but this section is blocked off by a wall. The landlord refused to let me behind it.
That's spooky. Your room is probably definitely haunted, Gilman. I bet you even seen the ghost of old Keziah, haven't you? Oh my god. You have, haven't you? Tell me.
I don't know. I've been dreaming these strange things. It's like I can see her. There in the funny corner, right as I fall asleep. Her and her terrible pet.
You've seen Brown Jenkin too? The giant rat thing with a human face?
He's got little human hands too.
Gross.
And just before they reach me, I fall asleep and enter this sort of abyss. All strange angles and curves and full of all these structures. I don't know how to describe them. Sometimes it's as if the structures can see me and follow me.
That's positively bizarre, Gilman. That's like something straight out of Professor Upham's physics class.
It's really scary at the time. And sometimes I swear I see her in town. What do you think?
I think you're thinking too much. And we should probably stop staring at your spooky wall and go study my room instead.
Yeah, that's what I thought you'd think.
Come to us, girl. You must meet with Nyarlathotep.
No, get away from me.
Look at her, Brown Jenkin. A strong little miss. She will be a fine addition. You must come with us, girl. We must meet Nyarlathotep at the throne of Azathoth at the center of chaos!
It's evil, no!
You think you have a choice?
Whoa! Where am I?
You've made it through. You're becoming more powerful, I see.
What are you...
The book.
Huh?
You shall sign the Book of Azathoth, Lord of all things, in blood, and take a new name.
I won't. He is the ultimate horror. I'll be destroyed.
You will sign!
Ow! My wrist! That vile creature bit me. Holy cow. Elwood, are you awake? Fran, it's Gilman. Let me in.
What's going on? It's the middle of the night.
Nightmares. Keziah Mason. It's all gotten worse.
Gilman, your wrist.
What?
Your wrist, it's bleeding.
That's impossible.
Let me get you a cloth. Tell me what's going on.
I can't sleep up there anymore. The dreams have become inexplicable. What were you saying about me sleepwalking?
What happened?
I've started visiting these places. After going through that void with all the angles and curves, I'll just appear on a hill or in a city or...
Wait, you sleepwalk there?
No, I go through the abyss and appear in these places. I must still be dreaming. I think tonight I appeared in the attic above my room.
How did you know you were up there?
The floor. It slanted down the same way. I can see it in the ceiling. It could be my subconscious interpreting it.
Gilman, they're just dreams. You yourself said there's no way up there, that it was sealed off, remember?
Brown Jenkin bit me in my dream tonight. Here. And now it's bleeding. How is that possible?
The landlord hasn't been taking care of the rat problem. It was probably just one of them. We'll make a complaint in the morning.
There's more. This. In one dream, I appeared in this strange city like nothing I've seen before. It had these little statues all over the place, and I saw Keziah there, accidentally broke one, and ran. And when I woke up, this thing was in my bed.
What a weird thing. Like a starfish monster. I've never seen anything like it. We should ask the professors if they know what it is.
And tell them it appeared after I dreamt of this exact statue. They'll think I'm crazy.
We'll come up with something. Tell them we found it in the trash or the like.
Good. Yes. Good. I've been thinking about how you say I'm sleepwalking. Clearly I'm going somewhere.
Apparently, but in your bedclothes? Without your shoes?
It makes me think, what if the angles in the wall are what Keziah Mason used to enable interdimensional travel? And they're actually everywhere. And if you knew how to use these angles, you could deliberately step out of this dimension and use a passage to take you to another.
And what? The corridor with the shapes in your dreams is your passage?
Maybe. It's just a theory.
Makes some sense, I suppose. Moving from one place in a three-dimensional world to another would require escaping it entirely. Or that's what Professor Upham implies.
The question is, can a human being make that trip alive?
And what prevents someone from appearing in a place where they cannot even survive? It's a scary thought, Gilman.
Can I sleep in your room in the meantime? Just the sight of that corner of the room where I always see her. I can't do it.
Of course you can. I'll ask the landlord if you can borrow a cot or something in the morning. You know, Gilman, Walpurgis Night is coming up. All the locals are talking about it.
They've been pretty spooked, but they're always pretty spooked.
They say bad things happen around May Eve. Children go missing, that sort of thing. It's worrisome enough to make me superstitious. I didn't want to say, but everyone in the building says they see a violet light coming out of your room at night.
What? Why haven't they said anything?
They're scared to talk to you because they think you're cursed. Violet lights are supposed to be associated with Keziah Mason. And you've been dreaming about her.
Did you tell them that?
No. A lot of people around here think she haunts this place.
What do you think?
I don't know.
Have I just been dreaming? Or is there something more?
There you are. Think you can hide from us in your classmate's room?
What? No! Elwood! Elwood, wake up!
She cannot reach you now. Come, we've work to do.
Where are we now?
You shall see. This way.
Ow! Let go! I'll comply, I swear. How did we get here? Was it that dream corridor? Does it connect these places?
You ask a lot of questions, girl. Do you really think you're ready to know these things?
But you learned it, obviously. It can be taught.
That was a long time ago. Your science of today cannot explain the occult, but it is the most primal power humanity can face. I will show you.
Show me what?
Wait here. There's something I must acquire first.
I could bolt, you know.
You won't.
Oh, no, give her back. No, please, no.
Take this.
What is it? No, oh my lord, you've taken their baby? How could you?
You don't know how much more important it is.
No, I won't stand for this.
Going somewhere, girl?
Let me go. I can't breathe.
You are a part of this now. You have been for a long time.
Gilman, how did you get back up here?
I don't know.
There are muddy footprints all over your floor and... Wait.
My throat.
None in the hallway? What's wrong with your throat?
He was choking me.
Let me see. Who was choking you?
Nyarlathotep, the leader of the cult of the demon Sultan Azathoth.
Gilman, there are bruises on your neck. What happened?
I think I'm in trouble.
Still no update on the kidnapped baby. The authorities seem to have given up.
It's Walpurgis night. Whatever's going to happen will happen soon.
And you think old Keziah actually used her dimension travel to steal that kid?
There's no other explanation.
People assumed cultists were behind it. The babies that go missing, they're never found. What do you think you can do?
I'm not sure I've figured out how she uses the corridor, but I'm as close as I'm going to get. I don't know what will happen if I try.
What's the worst that could happen?
You don't want to know.
How are you not scared?
You think I'm not scared? I must face this problem whether I want to or not. I don't know what she's going to do in my dream tonight, but I can't get out of this thing now.
Well, good night, Gilman. Godspeed.
Good night, Elwood.
Of the woods with 1,000 young. So good of you to join us, Miss Gilman. You are just in time.
In time for what?
The sacrifice.
Oh my god, no!
Hold the bowl. You will collect the sacrificial blood. All praises to he in the gulf, the all-powerful Azathoth who resides at the center of chaos.
Put down the knife. I can't let you.
Be still. You have no power here.
No!
You little fool. You will never learn the mystic ways.
I'll never help you. Die! Die, you old hag! Ow! Get away, miserable rat! Get off!
It is too late, my child.
No. She's dead. There's still time to...
The infant is lost.
No! That creature. Brown Jenkin, it couldn't have...
Yes, he is a loyal beast. You will learn as well.
I don't want this. I want to be rid of this place. I don't want any of it.
You think there there is a choice. You've never made a dimensional jump without her. With one false step, there are worse places you can go. Do you think you have the power alone?
I have to.
The consequences are dire. Join us, and you will witness wonders.
I can make the jump. I can escape.
Fail, and you will be trapped in the abyss between time and space forever.
I have to. I have to.
Gilman, I'm here. What's going? Oh, help! Someone get help now! She's. Oh my God! What's wrong, Clara? There's something wrong with her chest. What is that? It's in your chest. She's bleeding. Would someone go and run for help? Gilman. Gilman! Oh, merciless, bloody hell! God save us! It's burrowing out of her chest. The creature. It's. No!
I have seen that building, what's left of it at least. It was immediately abandoned, and years later a gale wind wrecked the roof. Workmen on the site discovered human bones in those walls. Bones of small children and an old woman, and the crushed skeleton of a rodent no biologist could place.
What an interesting way of contemplating movement through time and space. I've not considered that before in my studies.
It is not without its faults. More direct methods of dimensional travel have an almost limitless range.
Oh, that's right, Swami Chandraputra. You have insight into these areas. Would you tell us what you've learned of the case for Randolph Carter still being alive?
Yes, that would be much more relevant. It's not even on the hour, Demariny. What is wrong with that thing?
Yes, I'd been meaning to talk to you about your coffin-shaped grandfather clock, Mr. Demariny.
The clock?
I told him at the beginning that something was wrong with that confounded clock.
It is a curious instrument. I wonder how many of its subtler properties you know. If my dreams and readings are correct, it was made by those who knew much of the first gateway.
What are you implying, Swami Chandraputra? What do you know?
I'll get to that. Regarding these theories of trans-dimensional travel, our friend Carter had approached them not only with earthly powers, but with aspects he had seen in his dreams. Whole worlds in the mystic dreams he had encountered proved to have really existed elsewhere in time and space, the past or the future, galaxies away.
Like the worlds that Gilman visited in his dreams with the witch.
I knew an old professor plagued by dreams of that sort, but how can you tell which come from an extant place and which merely come from irrational dreams?
Those of us with some level of control over our dreams can make that process easier.
See, that was not the case with my friend. It happened that he once awoke in the hospital.
Many
He's
factors.
stabilized, but he's still talking
In the
gibberish.
anciens
Mr. Peasley, can you hear me?
leading to the French Revolution.
What on earth is he talking about?
Just be glad it's in English now.
Addition to the rise on social and economic
He used to be a
inequality.
history professor at
and the
Miskatonic, didn't he?
Enlightenment's contribution of new political ideas.
Mr. Peasley, you're
Economy
not
of
in a
France
lecture.
was also
Step two, old boy.
What? Where am I?
You're at the hospital, Mr. Peasley. You fell unconscious and your breathing and heart rate were irregular.
You're quite all right now.
Dear, who finished my lecture?
Your lecture? Dr. Rutherford, what is he talking about?
Mr. Peasley, what date do you think it is?
Why, it's May the 14th, 1908, of course. Is it not?
I'm Very sorry, sir, but the date is September 26th, 1913.
I've been unconscious for 5 years?
Actually, not quite.
If you weren't already doing so, I'd ask you to sit down for this, my good man.
He does look more like himself now, doesn't he?
He does, actually. The expression. There's something in his gaze that looks like himself again.
Doctors, what is going on? What's happened?
I'm going to ask the nurses to call on his wife and children. They're going to want to know.
Thank you, Dr. Marsh. Mr. Peasley, you've been quite the medical phenomenon these past 5 years. You remember none of it?
I don't believe so. I mean, the last thing I remember was feeling a little feverish in front of my class and that headache.
Yes, you passed out in that lecture and were admitted here. When you awoke, you had no memory of who you are, any details about your life, or anything at all, really.
I've had amnesia for 5 years? Oh, what have I been doing all this time?
It was quite interesting from a medical standpoint, actually. In your blank state, your sort of secondary personality came out. You were, or rather, he was, very interested in learning.
I can't believe it. I remember none of this. Learning? What did he want to learn, this not me?
This and that started with a lot of histories, which seemed within your character, but he also moved on to some rather questionable materials. I saw him with the Necronomicon on several occasions. Don't know what he was doing with it.
What would he want to do with it?
Sorry to interrupt. Mrs. Peasley still refuses to come back to Arkham for any reason.
Alice? Is she all right?
I'm afraid your prolonged amnesiac state took its toll on your relationship.
Henriette, I'm sure now is not the time to
What happened? Where is she?
She grew very frightened of you after a time, especially after your trip to the Himalayas.
What?
And eventually filed for divorce.
Oh, God, no. Alice.
I'm very sorry, Mr. Peasley. If it's any consolation, your son Wingate would like to see you. He's arranging for transportation.
This is a great deal to take in right now. May I be alone for a time?
Of course. Let us know if you need anything.
Poor chap.
The Himalayas.
Are you writing your history?
Yes, many of us are doing so. Our hosts will find it most beneficial.
What are you writing about?
About my people's conquering of the tribes to expand our borders. Did not your people do the same?
You know, I was a history professor. Warfare was not an uncommon subject, but I like to think we learned from it.
I have found that close to every species I have met here shares the same kinds of stories. Whatever planet from which you hail, from whatever time your people ruled, much is the same.
That is a depressing thought. Do your people not value free will? Individuality?
We both ended up here, did we not? Look at us.
I try not to.
Still, you are weak. Look at yourself and tell me you believe in free will.
I perfectly well know what...
Oh, Wingate! Wingate! Oh,
I'm here, Father. Was it another one of those dreams?
Oh, it was. Oh, it was terrifying.
Were you back in the gigantic city with
the hieroglyphs on the walls? Yes. I was talking with one of them.
Which one? One with a human mind or another one?
Oh, I can't keep them straight. They all just look like conical stalks with all those appendages out of the top. Could have been one of the human-minded ones. I'm not sure. It's so disconcerting.
And what happened?
We were just chatting, and I happened to look down at myself, and at...
What?
And I was one of those things, too! My God, Wingate. These dreams, they're driving me mad!
That's very interesting, actually.
What is? Have you thought of something?
I found some stories, like yours. Look here. This is one of the books that the alternate you checked out.
The Book of Iben. Yes, my secondary personality read that one an awful lot, I hear.
Here are some of those hieroglyphics you said you recognized.
Yes. This symbol here refers to terrestrial beings. So my dreams seem to inform me.
Listen to this passage. Individuals of the great race of Yith have the ability to project themselves through time and space and enter the mind of another organism in the past or future. The displaced mind would then be held captive in the body of the displacer until their research has been completed.
Research? What are they researching?
Everything, it seems. It said they were able to learn all things that were ever known or ever would be known in the universe. And they keep all this information in the archive.
Archive vaults, yes! I saw those in my dream!
The details sync up very closely. You see, I have a theory, Father.
Let me brace myself.
No, it's very simple, actually. If the alternate you read all this information before, then perhaps it made an impression in your subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
And over these past years, your mind has pieced together everything he was reading and created this ingrained memory of it.
Simple transference. I think you're onto something, son.
So there's nothing to fear in these dreams. In all likelihood, you've just assimilated the research from that 5-year stretch into your memory, where it manifests as dreams.
Is that all? That makes a whole lot of sense.
Psychologically, it's fascinating. I think we should start publishing your dreams.
That's an idea. Perhaps it would help you with your studies as well.
Perhaps. Anyway, I should be getting going.
Got a class soon?
I do, and I need this one for the psychology credits.
See you for dinner. Oh, and Wingate, my boy. Thank you.
Nathaniel Wingate Peasley, come look at the city with me.
Hello, Nugsoth. You can just refer to me as Nathaniel, you know.
That would be strange. Do you see those windowless towers at the edge of the city of the great race?
Yes. The Yithians tell me they predate the city.
They do. But the creatures that the great race of Yith locked away will one day return. You can detect them at times beneath the trap doors on the lowest archive level.
I have felt this. Those trap doors give me the willies.
That last phrase did not translate.
They scare me. What will the Yithians do?
Our benevolent hosts have selected a race that lives many eons after my people on Earth. It is with these beings that they will switch bodies when the uprising comes.
I am conflicted how to feel about that, Nugsoth.
They have done this before. That is how they got here.
I am aware, but it is very complicated, morally.
Why?
Because they are consigning this innocent species to face these monsters, entirely unprepared, while they escape. They are dooming an entire race just because they are smarter. It does not seem fair to me.
You are a strange human, Nathaniel Wingate Peasley.
Father? Oh, there you are.
Oh, hello, Wingate. Sorry, I must have dozed off.
I brought you your mail from the university.
Oh, thank you.
You've got a letter here from Pilbara, Western Australia.
Open it for me, would you?
Interesting. This professor in Australia says miners have found some stones in the desert. They have marks matching some of the hieroglyphs that we published in the Journal of the American Psychological Society.
Oh, what are the hieroglyphs doing in Australia?
Hush, Father. It seems to him and some other professors at Perth that there may have been a civilization there with connections to the research we were doing.
Oh. Well, that is interesting. Did they enclose a picture of the stones?
No. They're inviting you to Australia to see for yourself and join their expedition.
I'll speak with Professors Dyer and Ashley and some of the other science faculty and see if they're interested.
Are you sure? Seems like an awful lot of money and a lot of traveling. And for what exactly?
I'd like to see what they've found, my boy.
Then I'm coming with you. I'll talk to the rest of the psychology department as well.
Very good. I'm not sure I can make you understand, but I think we should do this.
You have started writing your history account, Nathaniel Wingate Peasley.
Yes, I have finally decided to get it all down, seeing as I do not know how long I will be a guest here.
Of what are you writing?
Have you ever heard of Napoleon?
I have not.
I used to teach a class on him. He was a very important historic figure in my time.
In the year 16,000, we do not have use for this information. My people only need to conquer.
Yes, so you have told me, Nugsoth. Your Earth must have been a very different place from my Earth. We valued information and knowledge to succeed.
You are like the great race of Yith, then.
Because we value knowledge? I suppose so.
But all of their learning will not stop the great flying things imprisoned beneath the trapdoors. One day, they will escape.
Oh, Mr. Peasley, shouldn't you be sleeping? I spent a long couple of days excavating and you'll need your rest.
I've been having trouble sleeping lately. I haven't found what I've been looking for, and it's beginning to make me anxious.
What are you looking for?
I don't rightly know. I'm certain I'll know when I see it.
Well, these things happen in the mines. Days, weeks can go by, and then eureka!
I don't suppose I could ask you to serve as my guide tonight and take a walk through the dig with me. There's a section to the northwest I've been thinking about.
You want to go out there? At 11 at night?
I'll pay you your daily wages.
You do know what they say is out there.
Other than lots more ancient rocks to dig up?
The Aborigines from this area are terrified of going out there when the winds pick up.
It's not windy now.
They say terrible things happen out there. That the winds stir up underground villages where great beings sleep and will one day awaken to devour the world.
Very well. I'll pay you double your wages. I have this feeling like there's something out there.
Oh, deal. But if the winds pick up, we're dogging it back here.
Good man. This way.
Oh, look, Mr. Peasley. There's more of these stone blocks out here. And most we found yet.
They look dreadfully familiar, these markings. Wait. I know exactly where we are.
Where?
This would have been a corridor I've seen before. If this structure were still standing, there would be rooms down that way, and an incline to another level down that way.
This is most unusual, sir. Well, the expedition leaders, they say you know about these things, but how can you? These rocks have been under the sand for centuries.
Hundreds of millions of years, actually. Over here. Look at this. There seems to be a stream of air coming up from this heap. Help me move some of these blocks.
This is not what I signed on for. We were supposed to just be mining for gold before your science lot showed up.
One more block. Here. 1, 2, 3.
Wow. Looky there. We found an opening. And a ramp going down.
Yes, we did.
Wait, you're going down there? No one knows where we've gone. No, we should go back and tell the rest of the team in the morning.
I know where I'm going. I've been here before.
It's too dark, sir.
Then stay close. I'll need use of your flashlight and batteries.
I can't believe this. Wait for me! How do you know where you're going?
It's all perfectly preserved. I had no idea these rooms were so huge. Am I dreaming? Is this insanity?
I cannot tell you this isn't madness, sir. Those stories the locals tell are striking me as dangerously true right now.
This way to the archives.
There could be inhuman monsters as well.
Be careful with all this rubble. Down to the lowest floor.
Mother of God, did you see the marks on these walls?
Yes. This is the symbol for terrestrial species. Like us.
I will never understand you science types.
Here we are.
What's that over there? Well, it looks like a trapdoor.
I see it. My God, it's open.
What does that mean?
The flying things. No, they would be extinct by now. They wiped out the conical things.
Peasley? Huh? There are footsteps going to and from it. We've got to get out of here.
They are long gone. Nothing to harm us now. The vaults. This one. Give me a boost.
How are you going to open that vault?
I know the mechanism. Assuming it still works. Got it.
What's that?
I need to see that this scroll is what I think it is. What I fear it is.
Open it. What's wrong?
You know what it means if this scroll is... And if I'm not dreaming, if this is real, then what it means about how the world works, how everything...
Give it here! I don't understand. If this place has been buried for hundreds of millions of years, what is this scroll about the French Revolution doing here?
It is! Christ, this was my work! This is the history I wrote for them. I don't believe it.
You don't believe what?
The city of the great race was here! What was that?
Can we get out of here now?
Yes, bring the scroll. I'll show it to my son as proof. Wingate will know what to do. He must! Let's go! This way!
Careful! The debris!
Run!
Where's it coming from? Behind or ahead?
I don't know! I don't think I can make the jump over this crevasse.
You have to! Jump!
Do you see those windowless towers at the edge of the city of the great race?
Jump, Mr. Peasley! We have to get out of here! They're coming!
But the creatures that the great race of Yith locked away will one day return.
What's happening? We have to get out! We have to get out!
But all of their learning will not stop the great flying things imprisoned beneath the trapdoors. One day, they will escape.
We have to get out!
You are a strange human, Nathaniel Wingate Peasley.
Father, where have you been? You look terrible.
Wingate, thank God,
Are you all right? You're all scraped up.
I can't do this. I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of Australia today.
What happened? Did you get trapped in the windstorm last night?
The ruins out that way.
That way?
Yes. The buildings from the great city. In my dreams, they're here.
We've surveyed everything in that direction. There was nothing out there.
Oh, no. The man, the miner, the Australian miner who went with me. He has my scroll as physical evidence. Did he return? I didn't see him out there.
Wait, which miner went with you?
Oh my God, I never knew his name. He's gone now, and he has the scroll!
Father, don't you see? You must have fallen asleep.
No, please, you must believe me!
Father, I'm sorry. These were only more dreams. There never was a man.
Oh, no, we have to find that scroll! Don't you understand? All along, they weren't dreams! They were memories!
That would explain so much of our current predicament.
Can't somebody shut that old fool up? We've had enough of this poppycock. The problem is to divide up the property, and it's about time we got to it.
Listen now, there is more to this matter than you think. You've asked me here to deliver what facts I have, and so I shall.
Oh, finally we're getting somewhere. You could have said something ages ago, and we could have avoided all this malarkey.
Hush, you. I'm interested in what the Swami has to say.
It is as you said. Once Carter traveled to a cave in the woods, referred to as the Snake Den. He used the key to open the gate. Though what lay inside that gate may still be outside the understanding of any of you. Where he journeyed was no longer within the cave, and yet it was also no region that could be placed, and no date that could be fixed. Everything that was perceived in this realm existed outside of space, outside of time, so he experienced all at once. This was but the first gate, and here Carter would meet his guide.
Randolph Carter.
Yes, I am Randolph Carter.
Do you know who I am?
Yes. I've read of you in the Necronomicon. You are he who guards the gateway. Umar at-Tawil, the most ancient one, the prolonged of life. You have no face.
You are unafraid. Good. Do you know where you are?
Nowhere. Everywhere.
You must adjust your mind to the ineffable, the undimensioned.
It's difficult. These glimpses I'm experiencing, I cannot focus on a single one. They have no form or position relative to me.
Neither do you have form or position.
I journeyed here to find the dreams of my childhood.
They are here, amidst the chaos.
But with all these visions, I must ask for something greater.
I know of your quest as I know of all things. We have awaited you, the Ancient Ones and I. The ultimate gate is ready for your trial. It leads to the last void where lies the Beyond One, Yog-Sothoth, which is outside all Earths, all universes, and all matter. If you fear, you need not advance. You may still go back unharmed the way you came. But if you choose to advance...
I will advance. I accept you as my guide.
We salute you, most ancient one, and you, Randolph Carter, whose daring has made you one of us.
Who are they?
You know what they are, and whom they serve. This empty pedestal among them is reserved for you. The trial must begin. The man of truth is beyond good and evil. The man of truth has ridden to all is one. The man of truth has learnt that illusion is the only reality, and that substance is an impostor.
The ultimate gate.
Advance, Randolph Carter. Infinity is yours.
Hello? Is there anybody out there? I am Randolph Carter. Who is Randolph Carter? Is he the 54-year-old of Boston, or is he the 10-year-old who visited the snake den as a child? Or is he one of countless Carters from every known and suspected age of the universe's history? Human and non-human, vertebrate and invertebrate, conscious and mindless, animal and vegetable. Which Carter am I? Am I all Carters? Do I have a self? Am I but a legion of selves? Do I have an identity?
Randolph Carter, my manifestations on your planet's extension, the Ancient Ones, sent you here on your quest to return to your childhood dreamlands, to rule upon the opal throne of Elek-Vad. Yet that desire has changed.
Yes. Now that I have perceived all beyond the first gate, I seek greater and nobler desires than before. The freedom of this place has opened my mind, and I must continue onward.
You would no longer flee like a child into your beloved dreams, but would plunge into that last and inmost of secrets which lie behind all dreams.
I would. I can see now how everything is interconnected, and how my quest was limited to my once feeble grasp on a universe of only 3 dimensions. With all time and space at my disposal, it now seems a trivial desire.
What you wish, I have found good. I shall reveal to you the ultimate mystery, yet before you gaze full at that last and first of secrets, you may still wield a free choice, and return if you will through the 2 gates with the veil still unrent before your eyes.
I accept. I will not retreat.
The world of men and of their gods is merely an infinitesimal phase of an infinitesimal object. That which we call substance and reality is shadow and illusion, and that which we call shadow and illusion is substance and reality.
I see that now. Time is motionless without beginning or end. All that was and is to be exists simultaneously.
Every individual at every stage of life is merely differentiated by a plane of consciousness.
And now I can experience all planes of consciousness, all generations, all beings. May I bodily visit any individual in any age and any part of the universe?
You still have the silver key.
The key? The key is what can change the plane of consciousness?
It is how you arrived here, is it not? It is how you were to travel back to the dreams of your childhood.
Yes. I see.
Think of where you would like to venture, and I will provide you with the knowledge of the consciousness plane to travel there.
I've made my selection.
Then go.
Carter got his wish, and his consciousness was placed in the mind of his archetype on a fantastic world he dreamt of. I shall not tell you much of them, for they would be even harder to believe than the stories of the Abyss.
His mind was swapped into an alien body?
Just like the Yithians. I knew there was truth to that story.
Not entirely. He had to share the mind with its host, Zikauba, the wizard of Yadith. There was outright war between the two for control of his mind.
What's the point of all this, Swami?
This.
The silver key. You mean he's back?
See, Aspinwall? He's still alive, and we can end these legal battles once and for all.
Well, you could have gotten that key any number of ways. You could have killed him for all we know. Oh, if Carter is around today, then where is he?
He came to me. But be warned, He is still in the body of Zakauba, using drugs to keep the host personality dormant. The sight of him in this alien shell would drive a man insane.
So he's returned to find a way to regain his human form.
The parchment.
Yes, the parchment. I have helped Carter make certain advances, but he is running out of the drug to keep his host contained. So you see, Randolph Carter is not dead, but needs more time to restore his proper form.
How long do you expect me to listen to this foolery? I've listened an hour to this madness, and now the Swami has the damned gall to say that Randolph Carter is alive. You should throw her out of here, Mr. DeMarini.
Nothing the Swami has said is impossible from my experience. We must accept her story as possible until we hear from your cousin.
By God, I've got it. The rascal is in disguise. Look close. Behind the turban and the veil, she's wearing a mask. Just like your silly aliens in the hills. Give me that veil and I'll prove it.
Aspinwall, what's gotten into you?
No, don't touch it, I implore you.
You're out of your mind, old man.
Stop. You want real, substantial proof your friend is still alive. I shall give it to you, but I warn you, you've provoked me to it. You're right. This face is a mask. But what it covers is not human, so let it alone, Ernest. I may as well tell you that
I am Randolph Carter.
Carter! No, you don't, you liar. You can't scare me. What are you hiding under there? Why don't you want us to see who you really are? There!
What have you done, Aspinwall?
What's wrong? What's happening?
My God, he's having a heart attack.
Get out of the way, Philippa. We have to help him.
Don't look, Etienne. It's too late for him.
No, let me go.
He's dead. Don't you understand?
Understand what? Carter, where are you going?
Don't! It's not Carter anymore. We don't know what we're up against. That other facet, Zakauba, the Wizard of Yadith, we mustn't look upon that which we cannot understand.
He's gone into the grandfather clock.
What?
Let me go, Ward. I must see. But he's gone. It's empty.
The manuscript, where is it?
He left it right here.
Good heavens. But that means...
Philippa, there is nothing we can do for him now. Randolph Carter is gone again. To another time, another place.
Lovecraft's Tales Outside Time and Space represents hundreds of hours of work by performers, writers, and technicians to bring these stories to life. Help support the work of those who made this project possible with a tax-deductible donation at flatearththeater.com/contribute. Flat Earth Theater is a federally recognized 501c3 nonprofit corporation. Lovecraft's Tales Outside Time and Space was based on 4 horror stories by H.P. Lovecraft with E. Hoffman Price, adapted for radio by A. Lehrmitt for Flat Earth Theater, and directed by Liz Salazar. The Whisperer in Darkness featured Justin Hicks as Albert Wilmarth, Karen Sarao as Helen Akeley, Kristen Heider as the Migo, James Rossi as B67, and Liz Salazar as Noyes. The Dreams in the Witch House featured Melissa DeJesus as Clara Gilman, Kathleen C. Lewis as Fran Elwood, Marty Mason as Keziah Mason, Jake Scaltreto as Nyarlathotep, and Kristen Heider as the Woman. The Shadow Out of Time featured Jake Scaltreto as Nathaniel Wingate Peasley, James Hayward as Wingate Peasley, Kristen Heider as Dr. Rutherford, James Rossi as Dr. Marsh, and Chris Champa as Nugsoth and the Australian Miner. Through the Gates of the Silver Key featured Andy Hicks as Ernest B. Aspinwall, Kristen Heider as Philippa Ward, Matthew Zonzinger as Etienne Laurent de Marigny, Liz Salazar as Swami Chandra Putra, Chris Larson as Randolph Carter, Justin Hicks as Umar At-Tawil, and Marty Mason as Yog Sothoth. Sound effects were designed by Kyle Lampe and James Rossi, recorded and mixed by Panic Attack Studios. For more information on Flat Earth Theater, check out flatearththeater.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter. Thank you for listening.